the business of gender. More so gender identity and owning certain things. I feel like, so this is a very slippery slope and a very tricky topic that I feel like a lot of people are putting their 2 cents in on and not trying to be a part of the solution. So everybody wants to say what issue they have. Everybody wants to say like, oh, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't say that, where they're not collectively saying, okay, you have an issue with this. I have an issue with this. I don't feel this is right. Let's come together and talk and really figure out what the issue of things are versus like, let me just tell you what my experience was and blah, blah, blah. So currently, there was a trans woman who posted a video, and part of her video that was...
What's her name?
Oh, I don't know her name, but we'll put her in the comments below. But there was a trans woman that posted a video, and the part of her conversation that got sensationalized was the fact that women, not the fact, was her saying that women don't own periods, like biological women or cis women don't own periods. And it's just everything. Everybody wants to say like, well, blah, blah, blah. And like a lot of cisgender or biological women are jumping in and saying like, no, you will never have a period. So yes, this is something that we own. I hear and see facts in that. And then there's some men jumping in the conversation and it has nothing to do with men. Specifically, like there's this guy, Dr. Umar Johnson, who I listen to a lot. He's great. He's super smart, but I don't feel like he should have jumped in on this conversation. So there was a woman named Jess Hilarious who jumped in and said, no, you will never be a woman. You are a man. And there were certain things that she said. She didn't say those exact words to that person, but she spoke of an experience that she had. And instead of saying that this guy mistook her for a transgender woman, she said, he thought I was a man. Do you hear how inflammatory that is? Even if that's your experience, know your audience and know what kind of platform you have. That's very inflammatory using that kind of term, my opinion. But I can also see the effects of it trickling down into people of you saying, he thought I was a man versus saying, he thought I was a transgender woman. Like that, it's inflammatory. So even though she's right for speaking up on her opinion and speaking up on her experience, she still needs to be accountable and responsible for how she's wording things. There was another trans person that spoke up, which her name is T.S. Madison. A lot of people know her. She spoke her piece on it, and what she did made a lot of sense. And she has a really big platform, so I love that she went into it with a truth, and also she understands both sides. But still, I feel like her speaking on the topic without having other people from other sides there in the conversation really makes the conversation biased and still inflames things and makes it just bigger than it needs to be. I personally think if there is an issue and the person that spoke isn't even like a public figure and what they said was kind of basically wrong, you're not supposed to give that energy.
Go ahead, Oprah.
Everybody, no, literally, like everybody right now wants a moment. Everybody wants to be famous. Everybody wants clickbait. Everybody wants to do that. But we don't have to do that. Like, if we want things to be equal, we need to sit in something like this with people at different sides so you can see the real conversation and not point fingers and say, you said this and I said that. So how do you guys feel about this situation? Do you feel like people should be speaking up, or like, what do you take from the situation? Have you been abreast of that?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of things like that pop up like all the time now. Yeah. So it's kind of like, like you said, everybody's kind of wanting to insert their opinion. And I think I think when people like make mistakes in how they're either gendering people, pronouncing people, or maybe like they're misinformed, maybe these conversations just started happening, so they're all very fresh, and for a lot of us it's hard for me even sometimes, like I'll just accidentally misgender somebody, you know, it's just a mistake. My brain isn't used to it. I'm doing my best to like, you know, keep with it. And if that offends somebody, then I can't really do anything about it. It didn't come from a place of hate. Right. Now, when people are doing shit like, you know, saying things either specifically with the intent, like women don't own periods, my first reaction to that is like, you know, if you want to own periods with us, maybe we won't have to pay for our tampons anymore. You know, like maybe we could have some help paying for our tampons. Come on in, like please come in to that, you know. I don't think that's something that anybody, honestly, it's kind of funny because I'm like, wow, I didn't know anyone else really wanted to own that. But then, you know, obviously the lady saying, he called me a man. I don't know what he called her. Did he call her a trans?
Well, Jess does look like a man. I mean.
Yeah, but I've been served before. That doesn't mean somebody thought I was a trans man. It just means they thought I was a man, and maybe I don't even know the difference or what the dude meant. Right. But the fact that people got offended by that, to me, is like, if we can just make mistakes, we'll be able to have more conversations about it. Like, we're not all going to get it right, but I think that like I could have been offended a million times with the way people have spoken to me or spoken about things in front of me, but you just have to like give people a little bit of grace. Give me some grace, please, everybody. And then we can actually have conversations. We're never even going to get to this point if we keep just getting offended and spewing hate at each other.
That's great, because at the end of the day, I mean, men and women of trans experience have been here for decades, I'm sure centuries even. Mm-hmm. And what I would really love is to see, like you said in the beginning, just a conversation.
Yeah.
Whether that is with, I guess, trans women, biological women, or I guess maybe ideologically, and I can't speak English today. In my mind, I guess in the more happy-go-lucky way is like, yes, let's all have a town meeting and like sit down and like let's discuss this and get these ideas out, and we can, you know, agree to disagree, and we can hopefully possibly move on. But I also just think that people have to get out of their ignorance, especially when it comes to the ideology of trans men and women and the things that they may not know about the trans community. Conversation just really honestly needs to be had. How does that happen? I'm not exactly sure. And obviously this isn't something that's going to, you know, go away, you know, in one night. Like, this is definitely going to be something that's going to take time, and you know, I'm sure a lot of these conversations are going to be hard for some people to come to the realization about, like, hey, yes, I am a trans person, and you know, I'm coming at you with love, so please just come at me with love. I'm actually not trans. I love my trans community, all my trans brothers and sisters, and you know, non-binary, non-gender conforming people. Love. But yeah, no, there just needs to be a lot more conversation and respect, you know.
Totally.
Period.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add to that?
No, but the only thing I would have to add, I will say this: the person that originally made the video, and like she said before, if y'all want to take on, you know, periods, come take
come on.
But the other thing is that, you know, I tell people with transgender people, y'all have to do it both ways. Y'all are trying to name women cisgender and give them names. Keep your names. Do y'all names. Let women be who they are biologically. And these are just the facts, okay? Biologically, when you look at the chromosomes of, you know, XX and YY, transgenders, they still have the chromosomes of men. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, for you to speak on
trans women
have
the
they have the chromosomes of still men regardless. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I mean, if there's anything like with a Special Olympic or whatever, create their own pocket, create their own Olympics,
right.
Create their own stuff. That way they can have their stuff. But to have a man come into like women's sports and things of that nature, that's a problem. As we've seen, there was this that I've got the person's name, but we'll post it in the video. But it was that it was a big athlete. He was like 6'4" or something. He became transgender. He was in swimming.
Right.
He was ranked, I think, 400 in the men's division. That's like, they ain't even in the top 100. He competed in the women's #1. So even the weakest among us in our top was able to go over to the women's side. And
Trans men can't do that.
and then because of the chromosomes. I keep telling everybody. So at the end of the day, I think the trans men need to have their own thing, and trans women need to, and let them have their own thing. But to go into another sport, especially for the men that transition to women, I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
And I think we would also I would fully support that, you know. I think that maybe, I don't know why the trans community is very adamant on being in those spaces, but, and then feel like, you know, they're not being supported, which that's rough because I don't feel like anybody's gonna win there. I feel like everybody loses because they're not gonna feel supported, and then women are gonna feel invaded, and like something else is being taken from them. And I feel like I agree, like we should all as a community support the trans community and lift them up and give them their own platforms and spaces, you know? They should have that, and they should feel safe too.
Does that, just a question for everyone, with, I guess, maybe giving the trans community more of their own space, is that weird or kind of almost isolating to them, what do you think?
No, it's just like the Special Olympics have their own thing.
Yeah.
Got it.
Get your own. This is the thing. Get your own stuff so you can be around your own people. Be happy in your own little group, but make it fair in terms of the competition. I'm sorry, the weakest among men at that level still was able to go over to the women's division and get number one. I think that's where people need to be realizing your biological makeup and your chromosomes is letting you know, hey, you're still a man. Create your own little pocket, like the Special Olympics create their own little pocket, and that way the competition is fair.
Also, if I was a trans woman and I won against non-trans women, I'm not sure I would feel
Right,
like I won. I wouldn't feel like I won,
Yeah.
and that doesn't fit. That wouldn't,
Right.
you know. That I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm, you know,
not.
corrected if I am. But that wouldn't feel good to me if I'm a competitive athlete.
You want to compete against the best
wanna
at your
c-
level.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
100%.
Yes. And in closing, so again, like with the titling, give people that space to make mistakes. You know,
Please and thank you.
Like specifically for me, just to close this, if I see a feminine presenting person, I naturally want to say she, or a masculine presenting person, I want to say he. So sometimes if people have changed their pronouns, some of us may not know. Like if we're used to seeing male and female and in presenting. And some people can teeter the line between, and that can be, to some people that aren't used to that, a little bit hard to place. So we love everybody, just so you know, and you should love everybody. Moving right along.
Oh, we got story time.
Yes. So we will be back in just a moment with story time.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. If you're enjoying the show, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you can not only be a part of the conversation, but you will also be in the know when we upload new content. Love and light to you all.